Ladies and gentlemen, this presentation by my co-authors Jean Tarrant, Ian Duplessis, and Antoinette Kotzer, and I, is on the third year of the implementation of the Biodiversity Management Plan for Pickersgill's reed frog. The Biodiversity Management Plan was gazetted in June 2017 by the then Minister of Environmental Affairs. Each year of implementation of the plan runs from June to May. This is a collaborative program involving various stakeholders, and the overall goal of the Biodiversity Management Plan, or the BMP as I will call it, is to improve the conservation status of Pickersgill's reed frog and improve its protection through applied conservation action. The BMP has 5 objectives. The first is to create an enabling environment for the implementation of the plan. The second is to prioritize key habitats of the frog for conservation management interventions. The third objective is to implement appropriate habitat management activities and protection measures. The fourth is to conduct conservation-oriented research and implement conservation actions resulting from this research, while the fifth objective is to disseminate information to the public about Pickersgill's reed frog and the importance of its habitats. Under each objective are a series of actions, and we are reporting on the actions that were undertaken during the third year of implementation of the BMP. We recently held the third annual meeting of the Pickersgill's Reed Frog Forum. This is the forum where the stakeholders get together to report on what actions they have implemented during the year and to indicate what actions they will be undertaking during the next year. One of the actions is to get priority areas for Pickersgill's reed frog included in district and municipal planning processes. During the year under review, 2 local municipalities have included information on Pickersgill's reed frog and its habitats in their spatial development frameworks. Also, some success has been had in incorporating Pickersgill's reed frog distribution data into national and provincial land use planning processes, such as the Environmental Impact Assessment Screening Tool and the KwaZulu-Natal Working for Wetlands 5-year strategic plan. An initial qualitative ranking of the localities with Pickersgill's reed frogs in terms of conservation importance was carried out. The variables considered important to include in the ranking system are indicated in blue font. The variables had between 3 and 10 categories. This map indicates the extent of each of the wetlands and its ranking. The ranking can be used for various purposes, but it's important to remember that each of these wetlands should be protected because a species is endangered and therefore cannot lose any more habitat if it is to be saved from extinction. Regarding this action, comments have been provided to the competent authorities on 5 applications for mining or urban development. Buffer widths of 100 meters adjacent to wetlands with Pickersgill's reed frogs have been accepted at 3 mining development sites, although this buffer width has not been fully implemented at one of the sites. With regards to the action to implement appropriate management activities at sites, the status of protected environment under the National Environmental Management Protected Areas Act has been proposed for 3. Biodiversity assessments have been done, and in one case negotiations are underway. Alien plant control has commenced at 3 sites this year. Teams of 10 local community members are employed for this purpose. Ecosystem goods and services assessments continue at these 3 sites as well as at a 4th. Under the action to undertake research on the habitat requirements, breeding biology, and general husbandry of Pickersgill's reed frog, new breeder stock was included in the Joburg Zoo captive breeding program. The 19 captured Pickersgill's reed frogs started breeding immediately. Various useful information on the life history and ecology of the species has been gathered from observations during the captive breeding program. The results of disease testing has indicated that the facility is indeed biosecure. A detailed husbandry manual for the Pickersgill's reed frog in captivity will be published soon. Research has commenced on factors that might influence the immune system of the species. Population monitoring was carried out in 4 selected areas, including 1 reintroduction site, using song meters, as well as by listening for the calls of Pickersgill's reed frogs on an occasional basis. The acoustic recordings are currently being analyzed by students at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Action 411 to establish protocols under the IUCN guidelines for translocations and reintroduction has resulted in the development of 2 standard operating procedures. One is concerned with risk assessment before release, and the other is a release protocol. A 3rd release to the wild of captive-bred Pickersgill's reed frogs was carried out at River Horse Valley, where 50 adults and 20 tadpoles were reintroduced. The success or otherwise of the release is still to be determined. During the year, 4 more sites with Pickersgill's reed frogs were discovered, and distribution records are captured in the Izimvelo KZN Wildlife Biodiversity Database. Hundreds of social attitude and community engagement surveys were carried out, as were ecosystem goods and services assessments, as mentioned earlier. Samples from Pickersgill's reed frogs were stored at the Sandby Biobank for future use. The action to develop an awareness campaign and an educational program under Objective 5 was successfully implemented by the Endangered Wildlife Trust and the Joburg Zoo, as indicated on this slide. The actions included in-person and online activities and programs, reporting through various media, social media posts, and through scientific publication. In conclusion, the implementation of the BMP is progressing well, although there are various challenges still to be overcome. The areas occupied by Pickersgill's reed frogs are slowly being included in municipal and larger spatial planning, and further progress towards legal protection of sites with Pickersgill's reed frogs has been made. Habitat rehabilitation has been carried out at various sites, hand in hand with community upliftment through employment and education. A captive insurance population has been successfully maintained at Joburg Zoo, and releases to the wild of captive-bred offspring continue. More localities with Pickersgill's reed frogs have been found, and public awareness of the plight of the species and of the BMP and its implementation has been maintained. So, to sum up, the BMP continues to be successfully implemented, and progress has been made towards ensuring the long-term survival of the Pickersgill's reed frog. Finally, we wish to thank everyone who has contributed to the successful implementation of the BMP this year.